Hey dudes, it's Whitney and Chloe here, and welcome back to the Doodles channel. In this video, we're going to take a stab on a question that is frequently asked by doodle owners, and that is, what are the best harnesses for doodles? We will be talking about 5 harnesses that both doodle owners and trainers recommend, with a couple of personal reviews from yours truly. Let's get into it! If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more doodle content. So collars are the most common option for dogs, and your pup might do really well with one. However, a collar can put too much pressure on a dog's throat and neck, which can cause choking and coughing. In contrast, a harness can equally distribute the pressure along your dog's back, chest, and shoulders, which greatly minimizes the risk of choking. Moreover, a harness can give you greater control over your doodle's movement. Keep in mind though that especially with doodles, harnesses can cause knots and tangles where there's too much friction between the harness and the coat. That said, if you are going to use a harness, make sure you're extra diligent about brushing, especially in the areas around the chest and the shoulders and the armpits. So the most important thing about choosing a harness is making sure that it fits your pup perfectly. Usually, sizing is determined by a dog's weight and girth. However, weight alone is not the most accurate way to determine the fit of a harness. Rather, the girth diameter of your dog will actually be the best way to tell if a harness will actually fit your dog. And it should go without saying, but just be sure to check the product's sizing chart and measure your doodle well before you buy the product. Another great tip is to make sure that your harness is not too loose or too tight on your doodle. To do this, just slip 2 fingers in between the harness and your dog, and if your fingers don't fit, the harness is too tight. If there's extra space, the harness is too loose. Also, if you have a puppy, keep in mind that they will do the most growing in the first 12 months, and therefore you should definitely look into a harness that is adjustable. Moreover, a puppy will certainly outgrow his harness by the time he reaches adulthood, so you will probably need to buy a new, bigger harness once he reaches that size. So, there are many types of harnesses on the market, but how do you choose the best one for your dog? Does your doodle like to pull a lot, or do you prefer something that is easy to put on? If you have a chewer, you might need extra durable material. To narrow it down, just make sure to ask yourself all these questions and more, and consider any special needs you might have. You should also consider the climate where you live. Some dog harnesses are bigger and thicker and will cover your dog's body a lot more than other ones. The bigger harnesses might make some doodles get too hot when they're exercising, especially since doodles tend to run hot to begin with. If you do need a wider strap but don't want your doodle to get too warm, look for breathable materials like mesh or nylon. Likewise, if you have a very strong doodle, or maybe you're in the middle of training, you might need a harness with a sturdier surface area so you can control your doodle a little bit better. These ones usually come with extra padding to provide your dog a little bit more comfort and to reduce friction on the skin. So now let's discuss the different types of harnesses and what each is good for. No pull or front clip harnesses are really great for doodles who tend to pull a lot on walks. These are where the leash attachment loop is located on the chest area of your dog on the harness. And these types of harnesses really provide you a lot better control over your dog's movement, because a dog's natural instinct is to oppose the pressure. So with a front clip harness, since the pressure is coming from the front side, they're going to want to slow down naturally. Of course, simply owning a no-pull harness doesn't guarantee that your doodle will magically stop pulling, so that is where proper leash training comes in. Now, one thing to keep in mind with front clip harnesses is that your doodle's legs might get caught up in the leash, and so these are not very good for runners, for example. Another type of harness is the head harness or head collar. Instead of the harness strap sitting on your dog's neck or back, head harnesses go around your dog's nose and neck. They're actually more similar to collars, but they don't put as much pressure on the throat. Step-in harnesses are designed so that your dog has to physically step into the leg loops of the harness before putting it on. These types of harnesses are really great for doodles who might get a little bit anxious when putting on an overhead harness. Now, this is probably the most common type of harness. A back clip harness has the loop attachment ring on the back side of the harness, and since that attachment is nowhere near your dog's throat, it will not cause any choking or coughing. On the other hand, these types of harnesses provide less control over your dog's movement, and so if you have a puller, then we would definitely recommend the front clip harness over the back clip harness. If you do have a puller though, you can always start with the front clip or no pull harness for training and then just switch back to a back clip harness when they're all done with training. A dual clip harness is one where there's both a front and a back clip attachment loop. These harnesses are a great option if you like to switch it up based on your current needs. Now let's get into the reviews and discuss the top 5 harnesses that doodle owners and trainers recommend for doodles. I haven't personally used this one, but a lot of people have and love it. Some of the pros of it are that it has dual color straps that make it easier for you to figure out which way to put the harness on, and less surface area and coverage, so your doodle feels free and in control. It's also a front clip harness, making it great for doodles who pull, like Chloe, and thanks to the strap placement on your dog's chest rather than his throat, your dog will not experience any choking or coughing. On the other hand, one con of this harness is that the straps are a little thin, which may cause some uncomfortable friction on your doodle's skin. So we personally use the Rabbit Goo dog harness every day, and we all love it. We especially like that it has the dual clips, both front and back, because Chloe has always been a puller, and that front clip is really, really nice to just stop her from pulling, at least super hard. We also find that the top handle is really, really nice for control, and we actually use that to help Chloe jump out of the car every single day so she can get a softer landing. So I already mentioned that it is a no-pull harness with the dual clips, both front and back, but some other pros of it are that it has a padded vest design that's also reflective, so that's really good for nighttime walks. And it is also made from a durable waterproof nylon Oxford, which makes it really easy to clean and is suitable for pretty much every kind of weather. On the other hand, some of the cons of the Rabbit Goo harness are that some dogs might get a little bit anxious because it's an overhead harness. And even though that this harness is made from a breathable material, some doodles might get a little bit too hot in it. I should also mention, just from personal experience, that this harness can cause more tangles in Chloe's coat from the friction, so we do have to be extra diligent about brushing her out every day. Now this is another one that I haven't personally used, but a lot of dog owners have and love it. Some of the pros of it are that it has a back clip leash attachment, so your dog is less likely to get caught in the leash while walking. It has reflective stitching on the straps for extra safety at nighttime. The neoprene padding makes it extra comfortable and durable, and it has a simple overhead design that's really easy to put on your dog. On the other hand, some of the cons of this harness are that it's not the best option option for dogs who pull due to the back clip leash attachment. And even though the straps have a padded design, the thinner straps might cause some uncomfortable friction for very active dogs. This fourth harness is, again, something I haven't personally used, but lots of other people have and love it. Some of the pros of it are that its chest plate provides better control over your dog's movement. It has neoprene padding for extra comfort. It has a top handle for extra control, and it has adjustable straps. On the other hand, one con of this harness is that it is an overhead design, which might make some dogs a little bit more anxious. Last but not least, this is actually one that we have personally used. Now, Chloe, her whole life, has always been a puller, and we've never been able to train it out of her, and so we had heard that this one specifically was really good for training the pull out of a dog. This was actually before we tried the rabbit goo. But Chloe had always been on a collar her whole life, and so it took her a couple days to get used to the head collar. And it really did work really great for the pulling. However, we ultimately decided to stop using the head collar because she actually did kind of stop pulling, at least not as hard. But also she would actually start to wheeze a little bit when she had it on. And it also kind of seemed to do a little bit more harm than good, especially when some other dogs would walk by and she would just freak out and get way too excited. So in these instances, the head collar did make her a little bit more visibly uncomfortable. I do think, however, that with a little bit more training, she would have done really, really well on a head collar with zero issues. But at the same time, she is a senior dog. She's 12 years old this year, and so we just didn't want to put way too much stress on her. But ultimately, we did decide on the rabbit goo, which we showed earlier in this video, and we love that one. So I already mentioned that the head collar is just wonderful for training a dog not to pull, but one con of the gentle leader is that it might not be the best option for dogs who pull relentlessly. So there you have it. Whichever harness you choose, I'm sure your pup will let you know exactly which one is best for him. What harness do you use for your doodle? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found this video super helpful. Create a wonderful day, and don't forget to subscribe for more valuable doodle content. Later, dudes!
Do you use for your doodle? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you found this video super helpful. Create a wonderful day, and don't forget to subscribe for more valuable doodle content.